Hey, what's going on, kids? And welcome to Kick Rocks Podcast, Two Drink Minimum. And I am Bill, and this episode is, well, we're still in quarantine. So this is quarantine week 2. What we've been up to. Do we have any recommendations for you guys during your quarantine? Do we have anything you should avoid during your time indoors? We're going to find out. But thank you so much for tuning in. So sit back, relax, have a drink with us, and enjoy. What is going on, everybody? Gentlemen, cheers.
Cheers. Clank.
And to everybody listening at home, cheers. And yes, of course, it's a remote cheers because it is quarantine week 2, and this is Kick Rocks Podcast, Two Drink Minimum. I am Bill.
Sergio.
James.
Tony Marino.
And here we go. We're going to actually talk about what we have done so far in this past week of quarantining, because you know what? There's nothing else to talk about. There's nothing else to do. So that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to start out and go first. Do you guys mind if I go first?
Bill, can you go first?
Hey, Tony, thank you for suggesting that. I would love to go first. And we might go back and forth. Who knows? But for right now, things that let's see, what have I done this week? What have I watched? Have I seen anything good? No. The answer is no. I haven't had a chance to watch anything, like stream anything. Oddly enough, I haven't. As far as viewing, anything good, but bad. Oh, I've seen some bad. I've seen some bad. So I must be a glutton for punishment, but I kind of already knew I would not like this particular movie, but it was on TV and it was late at night and there was nothing else to do at the time. So I wound up saying, you know what? I'll give it a shot. I'll give it the old college try. And that was Ghostbusters Answer the Call. That was made in, I don't know, what was it, 2016, 2017?
16,
something
yeah.
like that. 16? Okay. All right. If you don't know, it's the one that's got, Kristen Wiig, Melissa McCarthy in it, Leslie Jones, the other one, I don't know.
Kate McKinnon.
Kate McKinnon, and I hate saying the other one. Kate McKinnon's actually awesome. I love Kate McKinnon.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I'm so upset right now talking about it that I can't even remember names because that movie is a piece of shit. So I gave it an honest try, and you know what? For the first part of the movie, I'm like, okay, I could see it, see maybe where it's going. I'll give it a chance. Fine. But man, it just takes a dip and it just doesn't get back up, and it's not Ghostbusters, I think, is the main problem I have with it. There might be a fun movie in there if it was anything else, but Ghostbusters, it's not Ghostbusters, and they don't even acknowledge that the other Ghostbusters story happened. So that's kind of an issue that I have with it. If it was like a passing of the torch movie where, hey, this is the new batch of Ghostbusters, that would have been great. I think that's what they should have done. I think that's what they are doing with the recently delayed Ghostbusters Afterlife, which that really sucks that it's being delayed, but it seems like they're doing a passing of the torch movie with that. With this one, I think they should have done that. They definitely didn't. One thing, and I know we've talked about this before, but JT brings this up too, and he's right, where he says the first 2 movies had this nice balance of being both funny and genuinely scary at parts too. And this movie does not do that. Like the ghosts, the demons, the whatever effects are not scary. I would compare it to, if you've ever seen the live action Casper movie, Casper's uncles, where they look all cartoony, and even Casper himself, I guess. That to me is kind of what the ghosts look like, and they just look cartoony. It's never really genuinely scary. Does it have its homages to the original? Sure, but they really try to squeeze in a few at the end, which are just unnecessary at that point. And they even go as far as to have a post-credit scene. And the nerve of this shitty movie. At the end, they try to leave it open for a sequel where they basically Leslie Jones is like listening in on this machine, this ghost finding machine or whatever. It's some kind of static radio frequency type machine. She's listening in, and she's concentrating on something and trying to hear it. And Kristen Wiig comes up and is like, "Oh, what'd you hear?" And then Leslie Jones takes out the headphones and is like, "Who is Zool?" Oh, cut to black. Spoilers, and it's fucking awful. And how dare they think that they were going to get a sequel to this piece of shit? And unless they're secretly geniuses, if they're secretly geniuses and they just did like this takes place in another dimension, and maybe there's a cross rift, like the cross rift in the first one, right? Maybe there's something like that happens, and they're involved somehow. I don't know, but I think not. I don't think they thought that far. So I think it's just they were like, well, everyone else, the Marvel movies do a post-credit scene. Our movie's that good. We're totally going to get a sequel. Let's do it. And they left it open, and they're never going to get it. And you know what? They deserve it. They deserve it. I know that's really crappy, and I'm shitting on this movie hard, but I had to because it's just the Ghostbusters franchise is something that I love, and to not really acknowledge it at all and just kind of call a movie Ghostbusters without it really having much to do with Ghostbusters it really sucks. And yeah, I don't really like it. I give it 3 Slimers out of 10. Who's next?
Dude, I'm still stuck on when you were talking about Casper, and I have that Simpsons quote stuck in my head where like Bart and Lisa were in the back of the car after that comic book convention or whatever, and it's like, I think Casper's the ghost of Richie Rich. Hey, they do look alike, and it shows the two of them side by side. He's like, I wonder how Richie died, and Lisa's like, perhaps he realized how hollow the pursuit of money is and took his own life.
Oh my God.
That's
That is
awesome.
dark. That's really funny, and probably it's a ripoff. He's definitely the ghost of Richie Rich. So I mean that's one thing I've been doing. I'll think of a positive the next time we come around if we do. But I've talked too much already. Who wants to jump in next?
I'll go.
Cool. Tony, what do you got?
Let's see. Of the new stuff we've been watching, there's been nothing that's really jumped out. I was really excited to start the new season of Altered Carbon. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. It's a pretty good sci-fi show on Netflix. The first season was great, and this season, by episode 3, it's just kind of like, it's okay.
Really?
But
that sucks. The first season was
yeah,
really good.
it was. But what I did last night was I rewatched Super 8 for the first time in a really long time, and that made me happy.
Is that still good?
Oh, it's still great. Yeah.
Nice.
Wait, the what's his name movie? Okay.
Yeah.
For some reason, I got confused for a second there. If you're referring to Sense8, which was the.
Okay. I actually I could do a whole other podcast on Sense8 at a later time. I dig that show a lot.
Okay. I haven't watched those yet, but I've heard good things about that. That'll be another podcast at another time.
Wait, Sergio, did you ever see Super 8?
Yes, I did, and that's really good.
Super 8 still holds up, man. That one bigger kid who's making the movies is like the only weak kind of link in it for the first half. But other than that, it's such a solid movie, man. It's so much fun. It has that total Spielberg Donner vibe to it, and it just like it makes you feel like a kid again. So yeah, I rewatched that last night. So with all the content that's coming out, even though not all of it's gold, you can kind of always fade back to some of your staples,
That's a good point. It doesn't necessarily have to be new.
Right.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
And that's a great movie. So anybody who hasn't seen Super 8 yet, if you like, good old fashioned just sci-fi, / invasion / horror movie, that one's got it all. And it's also like, nice
Spielberg homage completely. It's like even
100%.
The way it's shot, the score, everything.
Yes.
And like it's like Close Encounters, E.T. and Goonies and all that.
Goonies,
if you mix all that together, that's kind of the vibe that it has.
Excellent call. That's exactly what it was. You know what? It's Stranger Things before Stranger Things, and I love Stranger Things.
Oh, I'm sure those two dudes from Stranger Things were completely influenced by, because for their age, that would be their Goonies or their E.T. would be Super 8. You know what I mean? That's something that I saw as kids. Like, holy shit, this is great. So I'm sure. So yeah, that's
Nice.
what I've been watching.
Awesome. That's good. Who's up next? Serge?
I'll jump in. So this week, I know we talked about this a little bit last week, was, wow, why am I blanking on the name?
Shawshank Redemption.
No. The one in Ozarks. Okay, Ozarks. I know we talked about this a little bit last week. Ozarks finally finished season 3. Holy shit, was that final episode? Just the way they ended it.
No spoilers. No
God
spoilers.
damn. No, I'm not going to say anything, but goddamn, I feel like this season 3 like surpassed season 2. Like season 2 was, I think season 1 before when I first started this season 3. To me, season 1 was like epic. Season 2 was like, it was okay. I was still, interested in the show. And when season 3 came out, I'm like, all right, cool. I'm going to watch this, but I'm not going to watch it right away. So then when I started watching it, like season 3 was just like it from the first episode of season 3 to the last, it was just like very well written, very on the edge of your seat type of like closing for each episode. And then the final episode, holy shit, the way it ends, it was just like you weren't expecting it, and it just like total cliffhanger. What's going to happen in season 4? And I got to give big props to that show because like it brought it back from me thinking it was a good show to like, holy shit, I cannot wait for season 4.
I'm glad to hear that because I still need to watch season 3. And for me, season 1 was excellent. And then season 2 was not bad by any means, but it wasn't, I think, on par with season 1. So to hear that it's kind of come back around and it's got that same feeling.
Yeah, this one's a banger, man. Like it's really good. I'm
hyped. I mean, I was going to watch it anyway, but now like I just realized I'm like, man, I still have to watch Ozark season 3. So I got to catch up so we can talk about it and I won't get spoiled.
Yeah, no, it definitely brought the franchise or the show, it brought it back for me to just be excited about it again. I didn't dismiss it before, but I'm definitely excited. And then because we finished that, I want to say we finished it over the weekend. I was like maybe Friday night or Saturday night. We ended up on Sunday, we were just like, okay, we need to start something new. Let's just randomly pick something. And we have the Apple Plus account. This is, if you don't have Apple Plus, I will say that The Morning Show, which is an Apple Plus production, that's a phenomenal show in its own right. But what we started watching on Sunday night was an Apple original called Servant, which is like
Shyamalan's, right?
It's like, yeah, and it's like Rosemary's Baby meets I don't know what it meets. It meets a Night Shyamalan movie, but it's like it's got all these like Rosemary's Baby's undertones about witchcraft or some sort of like demonic thing that's going on, and you're really not sure. And it's really just like it. The first episode was like, it's okay. They're only 30-minute episodes, which to me is like actually kind of nice because you're not dedicating a full hour. But the first episode was like, the show's okay. It's okay. And then the last 5 minutes is like, what the fuck? And then it's like, all right, I got to keep watching the show. So that's definitely something that if you have an Apple Plus account, I would say watch that. Watch Morning Show first because that's amazing. Watch Servant second.
Yeah, I haven't seen Servant yet, but I have seen The Morning Show. Jess and I, aside from I got a 3-year Apple from when Jess bought our new Apple TV. So we turned it on to see what they had, and I'm like, oh, Morning Show has gotten some hype. So we watched it, and it was really good. And then I forgot about Servant, and I watched the trailer for it, and I'm like, it's just so weird. And like, I really like, I'd say half of M. Night Shyamalan stuff, maybe more than most, but like, I dig his stuff. So I was excited to see that, but I'm glad to hear that you're enjoying it.
Yeah. And like I said, you just watch the whole first episode. You're probably going to think it's okay. You're going to think the characters are just awkward. And it's like, wait, like these characters are just weird. But then the way that first episode ends, it just throws you way off, and you're just like, holy shit, I need to see what happens to this family next. So definitely something I'd suggest.
Thank you, sir. It's James Thomas.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Hey. What was I talking about?
Okay.
That you get no respect because you totally just sounded like Rodney Dangerfield.
Hey, this quarantine, I tell you, no respect here. For the COVID-19, you know.
My wife's such a terrible cook. She made alphabet soup. The kid spelled help.
Oh, next podcast, all Dangerfield one-liner. All right, go on.
We have to do that. We have to do
No, we
that.
don't. Oh, crazy.
All right, JT, what's up, man? What do you got?
I finished season 10 of Curb Your Enthusiasm, the newest one.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. This is more an observation than a complaint, but this is kind of like the most cameos they've ever had on the show. Did you guys see all of it, by the way?
Yeah. Yes.
Bill, Tony?
Yes.
Yeah, we're good. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, no, it's like the amount of cameos from like B and A-list stars, is like more than they've ever had on it, aside from like maybe like the Seinfeld reunion season,
Yeah, I love the John Hamm stuff.
Oh my God, that was hilarious.
Oh my God.
What's his I only know him as Super Dave Osborne. What's his real name again?
Oh. Yeah.
The guy who plays Marty Funkhauser on the show.
That's
What's his real name?
Yeah, what's his name?
Terrible.
Whatchamacallit? So it's like, because he died in real life,
Yes.
it's like they had Larry mention that he's like in Hawaii or some crap like that. And then like Vince Vaughn is like plays like a relative of Marty Funkhauser, so he's like the new Funkhauser character, so it's like he appears in a lot of episodes, like in the place of, like where Super Dave Osborne would have been.
Bob Einstein.
Bob Einstein. That's it. Thank you. God, I couldn't think of that. But what's crazy is that it's like, because this season is so loaded with celebrities, like it's like John Hamm plays himself, and Mila Kunis plays herself, and like just all kinds of stuff like that. It's like Vince Vaughn is supposedly Marty Funkhauser's relative. You know what I mean? I mean, like, whatever, you play along and stuff like that, but it's like kind of like Super Dave Osborne isn't as huge a star as Vince Vaughn is. So it's like you kind of like, you can like ignore, like the level of stardom for him playing some random guy, that is friends with Larry David.
I think it sounds like to me like, and that's right in line with Curb. I think that's, that's definitely the joke. And I think Vince Vaughn probably, he might have even volunteered to do it. Like, I want to do something like that. It sounds
so like, so there was like almost a little bit of like, just kind of like took me out, like just by like a pinky toe or something, you know what I mean? Like it wasn't like some big thing. Like I said, more a stray observation than a actual complaint, because the whole season was still hilarious as shit. And like, I love like with how ridiculously like, because like some of the plots in the past couple seasons have been like really big, it's like the Seinfeld reunion, he's trying to get his wife back and like all this stuff. It's like they keep, and like it was like he tried to find out who his father was, and he was in the producers, and like it's like usually there's like, they've been going bigger with the arcs and stuff like ever since like the 5th season onward. And it's kind of like this one, it's like their triumphant return is like, the Fatwa, the 9th season. But it's like the triumphant return this season is opening up a store to compete with Mocha Joe.
Oh, yeah.
What do they call it? A spite store?
Yeah.
A spite store.
It's just hilarious.
It's a spite store.
That's the season arc, you know what I mean? It's not like, the Ayatollah's trying to kill him. It's not like, Jerry Seinfeld's in the mix. It's like he's just opening a coffee store because the coffee store owner pissed him off, Like, they like totally dialed back the epicness, you know what I mean? Like, and it's so funny.
That's so great. Love that, man. Larry David's a damn genius, man.
Yeah, that show's hilarious because it's funny when like once all the like plot threads and jokes and like and Davidisms like start like kind of piecing together. It's like an Anthony Jeselnik joke, you know what I mean? Where it's like you see the wheels turning, but you don't know where it's gonna go, you know?
Yes.
Until it's actually over, you know.
And you just reminded me, like, Real Knight also finished that. Actually, I think it was the end of last week. As soon as because there was an episode this Sunday, it ended the week before, and we watched it immediately that Sunday night. And it was one of those. I know you guys experienced that. It's that wave of disappointment when you finish a season, and it's just like, shit. Now I gotta wait like a year. Well, with Curb, you gotta wait longer than a year usually until the next season. So this season was definitely a good one. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was good stuff. And it's kind of fresh in my head because like Laura, my girlfriend, is she's still kind of fresh-ish to the series. You know, I've been slowly introducing it to her for like a while now. So I've been watching.
Is she digging it
in a row? Oh God, yeah. She's dying laughing. Oh my God, this is the funniest part. Like we both like seriously roared laughing like for 5 minutes straight, and I can't get it out of my head. When like Larry goes to that guy's house, like his like wife is about to have a kid, you know, like racial argument with them and stuff. It's like he's sitting on a long chair, you know. It's like a really long chair, and like we've all sat on those in real life where somebody has that at their house, and you're just like, how do I get comfortable in this? You know, and like he's just very awkwardly trying to sit in the thing. He's like, what is this? This is like a chair and a couch at the set. This is like furniture centaur.
Dude, the fact that they stretched that out as long as they did was great. Like, because it was funny. And then it started to be not funny, and then it got way funnier again because they just held on to it that much longer.
Just that phrase just made us like erupt in laughter. Like it's like this is like a furniture centaur.
Nice. Awesome. So we're recommending Curb. If you haven't watched Curb, get HBO. You cheapskate, watch it. I don't know. I think we got time to do, one more quick round of just things we, recommend or don't, or things we've just been doing. I can start it off again if you don't mind. You think we got time?
Do it.
Do it.
So I did shit on a movie for my entire first round. And again, how dare they, the nerve of them. But I did see something good, actually. And I'm going to stick to movies here for a little bit. I did see something good. And Disney Plus released Onward on their app. And Onward was something I've been interested in since it came, since I saw the trailer. And that's a Pixar movie. It's a very high fantasy, so I'm a total sucker for that right off the bat. We know this. And animation in general. Love that. So that's two things I like. So I checked it out. I recommend it. Onward, I think, is a great film. It's a lot of fun. It's heartfelt. A little bit of a coming of age tale.
Oh, is that like the monster and his older brother? Or
so it's two. They're elves. They're two brothers that are elves, and they go on a quest. So already right there, I'm sold, right? But the quest is what we don't see is that before the film happens, their dad passes away. So they find means, and magic once existed in the world that they live in, but magic has since been forgotten and given way to technology. Well, their dad, before he died, was looking at a possible way to maybe bring magic back. So he found what's called a Phoenix gem. And this is very nerdy, but I promise you it's such a cool movie. I loved it. So the Phoenix gem is an item it's a rare item that can bring somebody back from the afterlife for 24 hours. Okay. But when they cast the spell, it kind of goes awry and the gem explodes and they only get up to the torso of their dad. So they just get a pair of legs of their dad. And it's kind of fun how they communicate with them. I won't spoil anything, but they, kind of have to communicate with him without speaking, obviously.
Oh, they needed a Phoenix pinion.
There you go. They need a Phoenix
That's
down
the nerdiest thing
Final Fantasy.
that anybody said.
Right. So they find out, oh, there's, another Phoenix gem out there. And if they get that, they can complete the spell and, see their dad. But the spell's already begun. So they only have now 24 hours. So they embark on this adventure with the two of them and their dad's torso. And they're going on this adventure to bring back their dad for one day and everything. And I really loved it. I dug it. It was a lot of fun. So it has the Pixar humor that you would expect. But it also has the Pixar, we're going to tug at your heartstrings a little bit too, especially near the end. Really, really strong ending to this film. So I recommend that if you have kids, if you don't have kids, Onward on Disney Plus, check it out. It's a really fun flick to see. Other than that, I have been. Did any of you three see Onward or not yet?
No. Is it literally Pixar? It's not like you're not using Pixar as a catch-all term for CGI cartoons, right? Like, was it actually Pixar?
I am checking right now. I did not think I was, but no, it's Disney Pixar.
Okay,
it's
cool.
Disney Pixar.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a legit Pixar flick. And it's, like I said, it's on Disney Plus right now streaming, which is really, really early for it because it was just in theaters. So they're kind of doing, along the same lines of, what HBO and other services are doing, where they're just like, well, normally we'd make you buy this first, but here you go, which is kind of cool. I love that they're doing that, and it's definitely worth it. Great film to catch at least once.
I'm actually glad you pointed that out, Bill, because I didn't even realize that they made that accessible because I've been wanting to see it, but I was going to hold off for it to come out on Disney because I've got Disney Plus.
Mm-hmm.
I just assumed it wasn't on there, so I didn't bother looking for it.
Yeah,
now it's like I think I'm going to watch this probably tomorrow night.
They surprise dropped it, and it's great performances too. Like the voice acting, which you guys know I'm really into. It's acting is acting, and voice acting is just as important.
Oh yeah,
Tom Holland, Chris Pratt. Chris Pratt is MVP in my book in this film.
Spider-Man, Star-Lord.
He's freaking amazing. He plays the older brother in this film. He's awesome. Julia Louis-Dreyfus is great. Octavia Spencer's hilarious in the film, and it goes on from there. It's just a great cast, a lot of fun. So yeah, check it out if you haven't seen that. It's a fun animated film that you can watch with your kids.
Nice.
If you have kids, if you don't have kids, you'll still like it and you can nerd out because it's very, like I said, it's a high fantasy adventure movie with some heart to it. So definitely good. Other than that, if you want some raunchy comedy that's still funny, Tom Segura. I've seen that this week. He has a new. It's a couple weeks old, but I just saw it.
Does he really? I love that.
Yeah, it's called Ball Hog. It's on Netflix. His recent special. So he's got a really good one out there.
Do you ever listen to him and his wife's podcast, Your Mom's House?
Oh yeah, all the time. Him and Christina P.
Yeah. They find the weirdest shit on TikTok and everything.
Yeah, shout out to another podcast, but listen because they totally listen to ours and do that to us. But yeah, definitely. Your Mom's House is worth a listen to. It's right up there with our sense of humor. But yeah, that's those are the good things I've definitely had the pleasure of seeing this past week and watching. So it's not all bad as I led you to believe earlier, but there's some good out there. But anyway, once again, I've overstayed my welcome. So who is next? Tony, were you next?
Yeah, I'll go next. What else have I been watching? I don't know what else I've been watching, but I cleaned up my garage and reorganized everything.
Excellent.
It's very exciting. I could fit, I think, both cars in there now, along with everything else. So
wow, that's huge. That's really organized. That before that was wow. I didn't even know there was 2 cars.
Yeah. So hopefully that can happen. Yeah, I just finished that up today because not working, having all the time in the world, as much as I love content, I don't just want to be watching TV and movies. Not saying that you guys are. I know that many of you are still working from home. Actually, the three of you are still working from home. I am currently the only one who's not working, so I need to find stuff to do. So yeah, but clean out the garage, and I've been baking bread. So yeah.
Ooh, really? I'm intrigued with the bread.
Super basics, just like beer bread, actually, because that's what I had the ingredients in the house for. But yeah, it's beer, flour, a couple other things, and yeah, it's pretty good.
You had made beer.
Yeah, right. I figured I would.
Well, excellent. So you're going into business. You're going to be selling that beer bread.
I figure if I can't go back to work and there's still these people that are hoarding bread everywhere, I could start selling artisanal breads out of my garage because it's clean now.
Nice.
Yeah. Came full circle there.
Hear me out, Tony. Hear me out. Throwing it out there. Miller and Marino's beer bread. What do you think?
It's a hard no. But I appreciate your effort.
Miller's beer bread. What do you think? All right. Yeah, you got it. That's awesome, man. I can barely cook a frozen pizza, so the fact that you can make bread is pretty amazing, and I'll bet it's delicious because
there's beer in it.
You're a good chef there, my friend. I've had some of your concoctions before.
Yeah, I'm just trying to survive and not go crazy.
Well, that's excellent. So, Marino's beer bread. You heard it here first, people. It's a franchise. It's going to happen.
All right.
No. You're like, shut up, Bill. I don't want to make bread for all these people. I don't want to do it. I'm making bread because I'm bored. Shut up. All right, go on. Serge, go ahead. Save Tony. Save him.
No, there's not even a matter of save.
Save him from me trying to capitalize on his talent.
I'm happy that Tony's developing new skills. Like, that's one thing that Rule and I were sitting there saying just today. We're like, I've got this old electronic keyboard underneath my bed, and then finally today we were like, let's take this thing out, and like, all right, now's a good time to start learning how to play piano. So,
oh my god, dude, I just pictured you just being at home playing the goddamn Beverly Hills Cop song by yourself.
I think that's gonna be the first song I'm gonna learn.
There you go.
The next podcast, I'm going to open with just that. You guys are going to be like, Sergio, what do you think? And I'm just going to play that on my keyboard. But aside from us deciding that we want to learn a new skill, one thing that I think you guys know that I do love watching old movies. So I will say there was one old movie that Rula said, hey, let's watch. So I purchased it on iTunes, and we watched it, and I forgot how good it was because I think I only saw it when it first came out. But it was the movie Curly Sue by John Hughes back in like 1992, which I believe when I think we talked about this before, but on Netflix there's that Netflix series of like just like 80s and 90s movies, like things you didn't know, and they did Home Alone. And they did a lot of like behind the scenes
movies that made us.
Yeah, movies that made us. Yeah.
Movies that made us. And there was that thing about Home Alone where John Hughes didn't direct Home Alone because he was working on Curly Sue. So I'm watching this movie and I'm like, oh shit, that's right. This is the movie that he was working on, and which is why he didn't do Home Alone. Right. And I'm thinking like, actually this movie, yeah, he wrote it, but he didn't direct it. Right. And Curly Sue is actually, I don't know, maybe I was just in a mood, maybe it was a couple of drinks, but I'm like, oh, this is like a really cute, fun, would never happen in reality, but a fun movie that's like, I really enjoyed watching.
I've never seen that one. Who's in that?
Jim Belushi.
Jim Belushi.
The girl from Roadhouse.
Yeah, and then
the doctor lady.
Yeah,
and then the little girl Curly Sue, who I don't know if she's done anything.
That's Angelina Jolie when she was a kid.
Really,
it's funny.
Really?
No, absolutely not.
Her.
I know.
But it's
I think I fact checked.
Yeah.
Wait. What was your line from that 4 points?
I'm pretty sure I checked that.
Have you fact checked that? I'm pretty sure.
I'm pretty sure I did.
Pretty sure I don't
Pretty
have
sure I did.
Oh, shit.
And then another really fun old movie from the 80s that we ended up watching just for shits and giggles. I don't think Rule had ever seen it before. So we watched 9 to 5, which, especially in the times we're living right now, this was like, we were both like laughing our asses off. It's like, wow, this is like, it's like borderline cheesy, borderline hilarious. And it's just like, it was a fun movie to just watch again, just for fun. So yeah, that's the other way we were just killing time for the past week, watching old movies from the 80s and 90s that we kind of forgot about, but it was fun to watch again.
Nice. That's actually kind of a cool idea.
That's not.
and that goes off
Like,
like 20.
stuff I haven't seen since I was a kid and rewatch it and see what happens. Like I haven't seen an Ernest movie since probably 19.
Oh my God, yes.
Well, Camp is the only good one. I remember that as a child.
Remember Jail? Though? That was a good one.
Which one?
When he goes to jail and he gets like.
I want you to
was it
watch.
Jail?
I want you to watch Jail and tell me
I don't even
if it
barely
holds up.
remember this. I stopped watching him after Scared Stupid. That was like the 4th one, I think, and then there were like 90 more. And
Dude, Scared Stupid was. There's like one scene where a troll gets hit by a car door, and I used to lose my shit with that one scene. But like the rest of it was trash.
Where a troll gets hit by a
It
car
was just
door.
funny, man. He made a good noise.
God damn it.
Yeah,
Oh,
sometimes
man.
I can't go home though because I like a couple of years back, probably 10 years ago, I tried to rent Little Monsters with a friend of mine, and we were like trying to convince the other friend that like, oh, you never saw this as a kid, dude. This movie was the shit, and we like put it on, and we were like, oh man,
This movie's terrible.
like I didn't want to not like it, you know. It was like,
Right.
oh.
Damn it.
That's like certain movies are like that, man. They just don't hold up, or it's not what you remembered it.
Right. I'll stand by Short Circuit 1 and 2 though.
There you go.
Oh, that's
I'll stand by
Those are
Monster
great.
Squad
Those are
no
great.
matter how 80s and shitty they really are. I love that movie so much.
Which one are you
Monster
still talking
Squad.
about? Short Circuit? Oh, Monster Squad.
So
You just want to say we're the Monster Squad.
I am the Monster Squad, so this makes sense.
That's what we should do. We should each rewatch a childhood movie before our next podcast and come back with notes.
To see if
And
it's
it's got-
does it still hold
and
up?
yeah, and it's got to be one we haven't already talked about too, because like my go-to would be Back to the Future, but I feel like we've talked about that so many times. Just
Yeah,
'cause
but
it's so good.
That's different though. You know what I mean? There's like that's not exactly esoteric, you know? Like sometimes like sometimes there's those like just middle of the road movies like I would rewatch The Explorers. I haven't seen that since I was a little kid either. You remember where they made like
They
a
made
spaceship
it out of the
world?
Tilted World, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ethan
And
Hawke
they
was
go-
like a little kid, and yeah, they made like that force bubble.
Yeah, and the stupidest thing, to this day, I still remember that stupid ass joke that they keep on telling. He does his stand up routine while they're in space, and it's like the rolls Canardly rolls down one hill, Canardly get up the next. It's just like
It's so
it's like
stupid.
that stupid ass joke is just like stupid ass joke is burned in my brain to this day. I'm so glad you brought that up right now.
Yeah, but I mean, like something like that, or Return to Oz, or Flight of the Navigator. Those aren't exactly Back to the Future, you know.
No, but Flight of the Navigator,
Oh my God.
great flick. We're
Yeah.
not shitting on Flight of the Navigator right now.
And it's on. Hey, it's on Disney Plus, Bill, so we can watch that like tomorrow.
Nice.
Already have. Is that gonna do it? JT, did you go? Did you do your second? Was that your second round?
No,
Basically?
I didn't. Did I talk about Sapphire Spectre on the last one that I finished?
No.
Yeah, you finished your thing, and we were asking.
Oh,
what
that
the
yes.
next step is.
Right. Did I go into it? Because I kind of want to go into it for like just 5 minutes or 4 minutes, whatever.
Go into it. If you're going into it again, whatever. It's a shameless plug. It's worth it. Do it.
Yeah, I might as well. So I'm going to kickstart this thing when it's all done. But it's like
Oh yeah.
this is the second issue of the ongoing series of Sapphire Spectre, because it goes like the trilogy of graphic novels that I'm probably going to finally get done and re-release someday. And then this ongoing series. So it's like issue 1 was the one with the hotel that I've been selling for a while now. And the second one I'm going to probably kickstart, and I'm going to have my friend Ashley Witter do a cover for it, which is really cool because she's a Marvel artist and all that shit. So she's going to kill it. And she was interested in it because it was like, she kind of got this whole story started because I was talking to her on Messenger one day, and she's like, you should make like a chibi anime cute little version of your character and like sell stickers of it and stuff. And I was like, that's kind of funny. And then like I sat there at work and I was bored and I drew it and I colored it real fast on Photoshop and I sent it to her and I'm like this? And it was like this tiny anime chibi Spectre. And she was like, oh my God, that's awesome. You actually listen to me. And I'm like, yeah, it's fucking great. And then I was
That's where that came from?
yeah. And I was like,
That's hilarious.
I think I can make a story out of this. So I immediately thought, well, Sapphire Spectre should jump the shark in issue 2. And she should get a Batmite or Mr. and Mrs. Spitlick. For those of you who speak Batman or Superman, they're these like 5th dimensional imps that appear and cause havoc for our heroes. This was back in like the 50s when, you know, like they were out of ideas and they were like, oh, whatever, let's just get wacky. So there were these like tiny, like 2-foot versions of there's a 2-foot version of Batman called Batmite. And he was this little dork in a costume and he like pestered him because he was like his biggest fan. So I figured I'd do something kind of like that. And I have like Sapphire Spectre being tormented by this ghost named Sapphire Sheeby.
Oh, nice.
And then the letter B. And it's like, she's just annoying her and saying she's her biggest fan and like all this stuff. And there's a twist at the end and it gets a little dark. So like any other Sapphire Spectre story, it's like action packed, dark, and a little bit funny. And yeah, it's gonna be hilarious because it was really fun like letting loose, drawing in that anime style and just like making this character just super stocky, super obnoxious, and like a little bit like R-rated in ways that Batmite was not back in the day and stuff like that. So yeah, it was a fun one. So it's got some of my best artwork to date. And yeah, I just finished writing it and all that stuff. So I just got to finalize a few things. And then hopefully when all this insanity is over, I can kickstart it and get it in the hands of people. So yeah.
Oh, for sure, man. It's definitely going to be whether you whether you do the Kickstarter or not, but I hope you do, man. It deserves it. I think you got some good traction with that, man. But that's awesome that you're making some headway with it. It's really cool. Anyway, sweet. So I think that's probably a good point to end it for this episode and wrap things up. Thank you all for tuning in. Tony Marino, if you would.
Thanks for tuning in to Kick Rock's podcast, 2 Drink Minimum, where we've been drinking, thinking, talking shop, and I've been baking bread and slop. I'll count out kids now.
All right, that's going to do it for this week's podcast. This has been 2 Drink Minimum. Thank you so much for tuning in. Remember, you can download and subscribe to our podcast. You can get us on iTunes. You can get us on Spotify. You can get us on whatever your favorite podcast medium of choice is. Thanks for tuning in. Hey, reach out to us on Facebook if you would. Comment on our page. Let us know what you're up to during the quarantine and what you like, what you dislike, what you would recommend. And we'd be happy to share that feedback with you and maybe give you a shout out on a future podcast. Who knows? Is that incentive? Maybe. Anyway, thank you very much for tuning in. It means a lot to us. Stay safe out there. This has been 2 Drink Minimum. We've been drinking, thinking, and talking shop. Cheers, everybody.